welcome everybody. I'm super excited for the workshop that we're going to be doing today, which is going to include a brief interview with Dr. Shawn Talbott, who I will introduce to you in just a second, as well as a couple speakers are going to be joining us at the end too to share their personal stories around kids' nutrition and the importance of gut health and mental wellness. So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is 𝗞𝗶𝗱𝘀 and I am a leader with 𝗁 Global, the mental wellness company. And today joining me, I have a very special guest, which is our Chief Science Officer at 𝗁 Global. So welcome, good to have you here wearing your signature.
Great to be here.
I love it. So for those of you guys who are not familiar with Dr. Shawn, you should look him up. He's kind of a big deal. He's a leading scientist in the area of gut and brain health, microbiome health. And he's here to share with us today a little bit about kids' nutrition, gut health, brain health, mental wellness. And the reason I really think that this is such an important topic right now today is because we just started August and all over the country, people are starting to look towards going back to school. So I'm on the East Coast and we actually don't start till September. So I'm like still smack in the middle of summer here, but I know that a lot of people are starting to look towards going back to school. And I know with kids, I have two little kids of my own. I guess they're not so little anymore. My oldest is 9 and my youngest is about to be 7. And, you know, as parents, we're always given the advice to, you know, take care of our kids nutritionally, right? Have them eat more vegetables. I hear people say, take a multivitamin. That seems to be kind of like the general advice, right? And I try to do all those things as best as I can, but I'm always wondering, like beyond that, as we're looking to going back to school with, you know, germs and all of those things, what can we be doing to help our kids keep their immune system strong?
Oh my gosh, where to start with that, Beck? But you're right about, you know, beginning of August, everybody's freaking out. Like I think with the pandemic kind of subsiding a little bit, the summer opening and people getting out, now August is, people are doing stuff, right? Having vacations and get-togethers, going to the beach and all that kind of stuff. And now here's August and people are going, oh my gosh, school's going to start any minute now, right? So I've got kids who are in college and they're starting to think about school. I know a lot of people have, you know, high schoolers going back and middle schoolers and elementary schoolers going back. And you're exactly right. The things that we tell parents, so parents have heard this 1,000 times before, kids need to get their sleep, kids need to control their stress, kids need to get their fruits and vegetables, you know, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But what can you do above and beyond that? Or if you've had picky kids like I have, what can you do to bolster the fact that, hey, they're not eating their fruits and vegetables. Hey, they're not getting their 8 hours of sleep, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot that we can do, especially now that, you know, a lot of times we think about kids and nutrition for school, we automatically think about brain performance. We think about, can they focus? Can they stay on task? Can they be creative? Can they be all that kind of stuff? When we think about kids and, you know, how they're doing socially or in their sports, we think about resilience and we think about their ability to solve problems and all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, we also have this idea of kids and their immune systems, especially going back into schools. I know a lot of schools around the country are going to be in person, and that's not what we had last time. And they're going to be in person, even in the face of these COVID variants coming out and stuff like that. You know, so you need your kids to have sharp minds. You need them to be resilient, and you need them to have good immune system function. And believe it or not, all of those three things come back to gut health. They come back to looking at the second brain as the thing that drives all of that. The second brain, what we call the gut these days, that can help kids improve their resilience. That can help kids improve their focus and their problem solving. That can help kids improve their immunity. And so, you know, that's the kind of work that I've been focusing on for a big part of my career, from the perspective of adults being able to do that, so that we can improve our mental wellness and we can improve our physical health, and we can just show up in the world in a much more effective way in a lot of different measures. But boy, oh boy, that applies to kids these days as much as it ever has. You know, so we can dig into some of the nitty gritty about how we do that, like what kind of fibers do we give them and what kind of, you know, phytonutrients do we give them and stuff like that, if you want me to.
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question, right? Because the people are coming on here today to learn about solutions, right? That's what we're here to do, is not just learn the facts, but really solutions. And I know that we have 3 products that we package together in a kids pack for people. And I'm super curious, how do these 3 products in our kids pack work together to help keep kids healthy, to help with their gut health as they're going back to school?
Yeah, so in that kids pack, we specifically took those 3 areas, getting kids to be able to focus, getting kids to be able to be resilient and have good mood, getting kids to have a good, strong immune system. Because the reason we focus on the immune system maybe isn't the reason people think that we do. Focusing on the immune system is certainly important because your immune system is a shield against all the stuff that we're going to encounter out there in the world that we want to protect ourselves from. But it's also a communication organ in the body. So if you have a stronger immune system, you will feel better. Your overall psychological performance will be superior in the face of any sort of stressor. So when we talk about this sort of mental focus, get your brain to do what you want your brain to do, that's more about nutrients. And so we have a multivitamin called 𝗁𝗂𝗁, a chewable that tastes like sweet tarts kind of, that has all the vitamins and minerals that kids need in a bioavailable form. So they absorb them and they get transported to the target tissues that need to. So your brain works better. So if that's your concern, that your kids aren't eating the fruits and vegetables that you want them to, that they're eating too many junk foods and they're not getting their baseline nutrition, that would be something you would want to focus on, because in addition to those vitamins and minerals, it also has a really nice collection of phytonutrients that specifically are there to wake up and activate different parts of the brain that are involved in creativity and focus and problem solving and memory and those sorts of things. So if that's your issue, then that's the product, our multivitamin, 𝗁𝗂𝗁. If you think of it from the perspective of the immune system and overall mental wellness and overall resilience, that would be something that would start in the gut. That would be, how can you give the right strains of probiotic bacteria to help lower stress hormones and raise relaxation neurotransmitters? We have that built into our product called Kids Fundamentals. And I was actually just talking to my son about this morning. I said to him, hey, Alex, I want you to start taking that twice a day now instead of once a day, because it can help to bolster your immune system. And, here where I am right now in Massachusetts, the virus is coming back with a vengeance. And I said, hey, especially when you're in stores and, going back to school, you want to have a stronger immune system. So that works at the level of the gut through the immune system so that we feel better in our brain and we are protected in all these other parts of our body. So that's our product called Kids Fundamentals. And then the last part is really kind of a performance product where we have a product called Kids Mood. And that Kids Mood product helps with mood. It helps with focus, but really uniquely, it helps kids to be able to navigate those problematic situations like school and homework and math and reading and social situations and sports teams. We've been able to show in a clinical trial that it helps kids to focus and concentrate and all those sorts of things. But then when they're in a stressful situation, a lot of times those things go out the door. This product, natural ingredients, really safe herbal ingredients, have been shown to kids can actually maintain their ability to perform in the face of a stressful situation. When you might expect them to melt down or have a behavioral blow up or something like that. So it's really up to parents to say, well, do I want the nutrients so their brain works better? Do I want the probiotics and the prebiotics so that their whole body is more resilient? Or do I want something like this, an herbal therapy, to help bring them to that level of higher mental and cognitive performance? You might want one of those, you might want all of those. And that's why we put it together in that thing that we call the Kids Pack.
I love it. I'll take all of them, please.
Right?
Take them all. I want to get more into that kids pack in a little bit, but first I have a couple other questions for you. So you're talking a lot about resiliency and when it comes to school. I personally have 2 kids that have IEPs, right? They both have some learning struggles, and we've seen tremendous results with them using these products. Actually, my oldest daughter, who's dyslexic, went up 3 reading levels after you guys released Kids Mood. And I think a huge part of that was because of the fact that she was able to manage her emotions better and handle the stress better of feeling like she wasn't good enough, right? Feeling like she couldn't do it. So let's talk about learning challenges, whether it's ADHD, inability to focus, autism. Are these products something that could help people that have specific needs in those areas?
Yeah, so one of the things that we've seen, that we saw dramatically when we first launched launched this pack, but specifically that Kids Mood Plus product, is that we saw parents whose kids had IEPs, they would go back for a reevaluation or a periodic sort of check-in, and they were told they don't need the IEP anymore, right? So I mean, it couldn't be any more dramatic than that. And it's kind of like what you just said, Beck. It's not just one thing. It's not just that they could focus better. It's not just that they had better memory and recall. It wasn't just that their brain was working better. Their whole system was optimized. So they're able to, the way we measure it is we can measure things like strategy formation. So in a situation that's not an ideal situation, that child now is better able to solve problems, to navigate their way through whatever that stressful situation is. So that's going to impact on their schoolwork, but it's going to impact in every aspect of their social life and how they show up in the world. So, we were in a situation when my kids were that age where we were kind of looking and saying, are we going to need to go to one of those pharmaceuticals out there, like a Ritalin or an Adderall or something like that? And knowing what those are very strong stimulant drugs. They're basically one or two chemical steps away from methamphetamine, right? So they're very, very potent pharmaceuticals. And I'm not anti that, but I certainly would want to offer a natural solution to somebody if they're interested in that, to see if that's going to get them to where they need to get. And if not, then they have that as an option, as a plan B. But don't start there. The nutrients that we're using across this line, things like theanine, are first line therapy in Japan for ADHD. Pine bark, first line therapy in New Zealand. Saffron, first line therapy in different parts of Europe. So like, why wouldn't you look for that natural option to maybe even get you better performance than one of these pharmaceutical options? And then, like I said, if that doesn't get you all the way there, then you might be able to, go find another solution. But this is something that most parents don't even know about. So it's up to us to really make them aware that there are other options out there to improve their kids' performance.
For sure. Love that. All right. So let's take a second to focus in a little bit more about kids with stress and anxiety and potentially even depression. I think that it's been a really challenging couple of years for everybody, but I think specifically for our kids, right? There's absolutely no doubt that our kids are struggling right now when it comes to stress, anxiety, and depression. So what can you offer on that when it comes to these three products and how they help kids in that area?
Yeah, so I mean, this last year, this last 18 months, whatever it's been, the sort of social disconnection that kids have been having with, having to take their classes online and not being able to do their sports and not being able to gather in all these social situations. My kids just went through that, in their colleges, with campuses being shut down and dorms being emptied and all that kind of stuff. It's been a really, really tough time. So, I kind of look at it and say that, how can I say it? Well, I'm just going to say this. This might not be the right way to say it, but it'll get the point across. Some of these ingredients that we have in our line that we're talking about here, the kids pack, have been used in trials in comparison to some of the very strong, potent pharmaceuticals out there. So just for example, the saffron that we use, the exact saffron extract that we use has been shown to be equivalent to Prozac in lessening depression in teenagers. It's been shown to be equivalent to Ritalin in improving mental focus in children. It's been shown to be better in certain ways than any of the sleep drugs in improving ability to fall asleep and stay awake. Not because it makes you sleepy, but because it lowers stress, and by lowering stress, we can improve sleep quality. So those sorts of things are available to parents from a natural perspective. Like I said before, whether you just want to get baseline, foundation for your children, whether you want to protect them at this higher level with their immune systems, or whether you want to sort of up their game or help them up their game with more of a performance product, any of those or all of those might be of interest. But if, when kids start going back to those social situations, when schools start to open up and kids go back when they've been virtual all this time, there's going to be some stress. There's going to be some getting used to it. There's going to be some uncomfortableness of being back in these new situations that you've been removed from for months and months and months. And that in and of itself is going to introduce a certain level of stress. So anything that we can do for our kids to help them navigate that, That's what we're talking about with all this biochemistry and physiology that we're able to modulate naturally with these plant extracts. Oh, you're muted.
I was saying really cool things, I promise. No, I mean, what I really take from that, like, that was awesome information. And what I really take from that, which has been such an amazing thing for my family and my kids, is that there are other solutions, right? There are other solutions out there. If your kids are struggling, there are natural ingredients that can do amazing things for people when they are put in products and made correctly the way that you guys do it. So, question for you about the kids pack now, because I know that I've seen the biggest difference with my kids when they're taking all three, right? When they're taking them all together. So can you speak a little bit to the synergistic aspect of taking them one off? I'm sure they work incredibly one at a time, but what's the benefits to really using it all synergistically together as we look to back to school?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that's what I mean when I say resilience, is that we can use them one off. We can use each of those three ingredients separately from each other and say, yep, this one's doing this, this one's doing this, this one's doing this. Same thing for the ingredient profiles in each of the individual products. Each of the individual products has a set of has an ingredient deck, so to speak, where this ingredient does X and this ingredient does Y and this ingredient does blah blah blah. And each of those have their own set of benefits, but when you put them together in the right balanced recipe, that's why that product works better than its individual component parts, and et cetera, et cetera. The same thing goes when you put them together. So putting together, focus, mood, and immune system function, right? Just use three of those buzzwords. What you end up getting is what I refer to as resilience. When we measure it in the laboratory, we measure it in the clinic, we call it psychological vigor, or we'll call it psychological flourishing. It's the ability for that individual, adult, teenager, child, to show up to a given situation and go, all right, this isn't a great situation, but you know what? We're gonna figure it out. That isn't just a focus thing, and it's not just an energy thing, and it's not one of those things. It's this overarching ability to be what we call cognitively flexible, be able to form good strategies, being able to manage reaction so that you don't just react to something. You think about it, you digest the information, you respond appropriately. That's all under the umbrella of resilience. And it's almost like we can measure it in the laboratory, but the average individual person won't really know it until they experience it, until they're in that stressful situation and they go, oh my gosh, before I started these things, I would have just flown off the handle. Or before these things, I would have just run away. I would have tried to escape from the situation. But now I'm able to jump into that situation and get things done. That happens across the board. And the best part about it is actually experiencing it so you know what's going on.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense to me. So I want you guys to stick around until the end of this, because we're going to share with you how you can get started with that kids pack in the best possible way. And we've got a couple stories we're going to share with you. But before we let Dr. Shawn go, I do have another question for you, which is, I know that kids pack right now, we actually have a promotion going on where it will unlock 3 other products for you at 50% off, right? So you can get 3 other products with that kids pack, 50% off. And what I think is really important, what I love to do that, is help the parent get started on something, because we can't, I think as parents, we very often are so focused on our kids and so focused on spending that extra money we might have on our kids, and we don't spend it on ourselves. And I think it's really, really important that, especially if you, have kids that are higher needs, or you're, experiencing burnout because of working with your kids in some area, that you're also getting started for yourself. So for me, I love energy, sleep, and mood. Those are the 3 that I would get for myself every single day, because having better energy, sleeping well, managing stress, all of that. But can you speak to that for a second? Is why should a parent, when they're shopping for their kids and helping them get back to school in a good way, also take advantage of that promotion and get something for themselves?
Yeah. Think about what parents have been through, right? Trying to help your kids do the new algebra, or something crazy like that. That's stress on you. It's that you have to keep doing your parent stuff and your own work and your own career, but now you have to help the kids with their online schoolwork, and you have to try to make sure that they're handling this social isolation the same way. There's so many parents that are absolutely burnt out because of what we've been through the last 12 to 18 months. So, it's great that as parents, we always want the best for our kids, but don't forget about yourself. Don't forget about your own resilience. And, in all of those different ways, giving you the right nutrients, making sure your gut-brain axis is balanced, making sure that you have, an herbal approach to sort of, leveling yourself up so that you can have higher resilience and higher performance. That's going to be reflected onto the kids. We joke around sometimes that kids are like dogs, right? They can sense the stress of their parents, right? They can sniff that out, no matter if you're trying to put a good face on it. If you can get yourself in a better place, it's almost like when you're on the airplane, they say, put your oxygen mask on first before helping somebody else. Same exact thing. You need to get yourself in a good place as well as the rest of the family.
Totally agree. And I love it. If you could see the chat box on Facebook, everyone's like throwing out their 3 favorite products as parents to bundle with the kids pack. So some people are saying relief and omega and energy. Dawn's saying she loves to bundle the mental fitness pack with it. So many options. And what I would encourage you to do is talk to the person who invited you into this group, and they can help you get set up with that kids pack for your kids. And then 3 products, 50% off for you. So before we jump off, I'm going to bring on 𝗁𝗟 𝗏𝗶𝗱𝗀 and Mandy King, who have had tremendous results with their kids on these products. But I don't want to keep you, Dr. Shawn. I know you're a busy guy, and I want to thank you so much for being here. Any last words that you would give people as they're looking towards, back to school and everything that's going on?
Yeah, well, just to reemphasize what I just said, so many parents are burned out now and think that there's nothing that can help them, right? That the only thing that's going to help them is another cup of coffee, or another glass of wine at night, right? Not that I'm knocking those things. I like those things as well as anybody else. Yeah. But if you can improve your resilience, that's going to be good for you. It's going to be good for your kids. It's going to be for everybody that you interact with. And just the fact that you can get these things for such a steep discount, if you're already doing something good for your kids, I say take advantage of that bundling program. It sounds fantastic.
Love it. And one more thing before you go, I totally forgot. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you very much.
Birthday. Thank you for spending your birthday with us today. And we'll see you later. All right.
Pleasure. See you guys.
So hang on, guys. I'm going to bring on 2 of my colleagues, 𝗁𝗟 𝗏𝗶𝗱𝗀 and Mandy King. And they have such tremendous stories with their little ones and using these products. And I really think, it's great to hear the science, right? Like, we love to hear the science, and hearing from Dr. Shawn, who's the formulator of these products and one of the absolute go-tos when it comes to, mental health and gut health and microbiome health, is awesome. But there's nothing better to me than hearing the real live stories, right? So Mandy, I see you're here. 𝗁𝗟 looks like she's having some camera issues. So we're going to start with you, Mandy. So first of all, Mandy, thank you for being here with us.
You're welcome. I've got this flowing look going on.
Do you have a fan on you?
My office is crazy hot today, so I hope it's not too loud.
Nope, I hear you perfectly.
Great.
So Mandy, would you mind just briefly sharing a little bit with us about your story with your daughter?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Beck. I love any opportunity that I get to share this story, just in hopes that it could help someone. Because the story with our daughter, we have 7 children, and she is number 5. She's our oldest daughter, and she was always the portrait of health. She had little things along the way, some bumps in the road. She's our child that's a little more prone to things like UTIs. And then that's actually what found us in the situation that I believe led us to needing these products so badly. Clara actually had a kidney infection back in October of 2019 that led to her a trip to the ER, and there was no warning sign, no signs of a UTI that started, the way they typically do, that leads to the kidneys. All of a sudden, she went to bed healthy one night and woke up in the ER the next morning with a very advanced and very severe kidney infection. Now, needless to say, because we found ourselves in that situation, she was hooked up very quickly to some very aggressive IV antibiotics. And I knew that this was going to have ramifications for her gut. I understand gut health. I've worked in gut health for years, but I didn't quite foresee what this would mean for us. And so, she got better. She got better from the kidney infection. But what we found was that as the next few months went by, our bubbly, happy-go-lucky 10-year-old who loved to dress up, who loved to dance, who loved to be with her friends, all of a sudden didn't want to get out of bed in the mornings, wanted to stay in her pajamas, really wanted to be attached to a device all the time and didn't want to play with her friends. And we had to start asking ourselves the hard questions of why. And I knew that this was a gut thing. I knew enough to understand that this is not a coincidence, that following this very heavy round of antibiotics, we needed to work on her gut health. But everything we were doing, the probiotics, all the things, they weren't working. So we knew we needed something different. And the timing was just so impeccable in the sense that a friend came to me about some issues I was having. And when I decided to get myself on these products, I thought, oh my gosh, now that somebody's explaining the connection between the gut and the brain, the vagus nerve, how the brain has to be signaling with the gut or things won't be working properly, I have to try this for my daughter. So we got the products. I got her kids pack, got myself my bundle and save with my fundamentals combo. And I did not tell her why we were giving her the products. I knew if she was anything like her mom, her, what do they call it? The placebo effect. I knew that her placebo effect game would be strong. So I just said, mommy got you some new vitamins. And yeah, I just started to give them to her. She was on the products. I kid you guys, I actually hesitate to share this because I know that all of our stories are going to be a little different. But kids are very resilient. They don't take as long to bounce back as adults do. At least that's the trend that I tend to see. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that within 7 to 10 days, we had our daughter back. My husband can testify to this, and Chelsea actually watched this go down, that within 7 to 10 days, she was dressing up. She was dancing across our bedroom floor. She wanted to put mommy's makeup on again, which is always a battle. And the night that we knew was the night that she walked into our bedroom, just frolicking. And anyone who knows Clara knows this to be true. And she said, Mom, Dad, I don't really understand it, but I just feel happy again. And I refused at that time to peg my daughter with any terms like depression or anxiety, but she was sad. She was a very sad little girl. And I believe that she had anxiety and worry that was manifesting itself in the form of wanting to be by my side constantly when she actually did want to get out of bed. So there was no denying it. I knew I had to be a part of this. I knew I had to charge the way in helping other parents find relief for their own children and help for themselves. And yeah, that's our story. And we have never looked back. She actually came to me this morning and bubbly as ever. And I said, have you taken your kids' mood? Have you taken your vitamins? Yes, mommy. And we could not be happier customers.
That is like such an amazing story, Mandy. It makes me so happy. And I love the fact that you mentioned the fact too, that you've turned this into a business for yourself, right? A very successful business. Actually, Mandy is one of the top leaders in our company. And because she was able to go ahead and help her daughter, and she's had great results as well, she's then able to go and help other families and turn this into a business. So pretty cool stuff. Thanks for sharing that, Mandy. Awesome. All right, we've got another rock star here, my girl Chelsea Denby, who is on vacation right now, but was kind enough to take a few minutes out of her day to join us. So Chelsea, I know that you have a tremendous story to share as well. So would you mind sharing a little bit about your daughter's story using the kids pack?
Yeah, no problem. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great.
Okay, good. I was on my husband's laptop and the video wasn't working, and I was like, oh no, like anyway, I'm on my phone now. So yeah, very similar story here. I have been in the holistic healing space for several years. For my own mental health, mental wellness, things like that for myself. And when my daughter was she's 9 now, but when she was about 3.5, I started noticing that like she had some sensory things, very sensitive to loud noises, tags on clothing, and anxiety that would manifest as anger, where she would kind of fly off the handle. And also very, very intense anxiety with going to like the children's class at church or going to preschool, things like that. Like she would kick and scream and bite her teachers. I mean, it was just one of those things. It was just like, and people would look at me like, why are you not training your daughter with her behavior? And it was like, it wasn't that. It was that she was so anxious and she would be acting out. So I, over the years, have tried probably 16 to 18 different supplements with her, and just things from Amazon, Whole Foods. I mean, just different network marketing companies. I mean, I was using anything I could find, and nothing was really working to the point where like I felt like I was a chemist. Like I was mixing things from one company and something from Amazon. Like I was just mixing these concoctions and smelled awful, like these horrific smelling things. And she would drink them, but I wasn't seeing the kind of improvement that I had hoped for. And so, yeah, when Mandy posted, it was a little over 18 months ago, she posted about her daughter. I was like, okay, I'm going to try these products. And just see, and 5 days in, we started seeing changes in our daughter. And I have been in the network marketing industry for several years. I was with a different company. And it was at that point that I turned to my husband and I said, we need to have a discussion about like this company and these products, because I knew that there were other parents out there that were praying for exactly this for their own children. And I mean, within 5 days, we saw incredible changes just with her mood and her demeanor. And like Dr. Shawn said, like I was kind of getting emotional as he was talking, because the changes that we've seen and the confidence, oh, I am getting emotional about this, the confidence and the resilience and just the daughter that we've seen develop and progress over the last 18 months, that has made everything worthwhile, leaving the previous company that I was at, and just all of it. All of the obstacles that I had to go through were so worth it to get my daughter back and to see her thriving. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that I remember being on an incentive trip to Maui with my previous company, and we took our kids with us, and I had to take the products that she was using from various sources in a lunch pail with a freezer pack, because the probiotics had to be refrigerated, blah, blah, blah. Like it was such a process to take her products with us wherever we went. You know, they had to stay cold. They had, you know, this, and this, and it was just such a process. And here, so like Beck said, we're on vacation in the mountains, and I have her stuff with us, and I bring it. I mean, like we don't go without it. These are, you know, it's in a Ziploc bag because we're a little bit ghetto, but we do not travel without our products, because even if we go a day or two without the products, those things creep back in of being angry, being mean, not sleeping well, just really negative self-talk, things like that. Like the anxiety creeps back in. And that's the thing that like I tell her every day, I take my products because it helps me feel better. And every day she takes hers. And actually now all 4 of my kids are on the kids pack. So I love the kids pack. It's for various different reasons, but specifically for my daughter, that's why, you know, we tried it initially, and why we're here and why we'll never leave, because there are other parents who are praying for exactly this. And I'm just so grateful for what we have here and for what Dr. Shawn has created for our children. So all the hard eyes for me, and like the tears, I seriously had to hold back some projectile tears there. So
unbelievable, Chelsea. And can I just say too, like the fact that this was not an easy business move for you, right? Like you left a 6-figure position elsewhere to come here and do this because you felt so strongly and you felt like you needed to make a difference. And I just want to share this with you because this is a comment I'm seeing in the Facebook group right now, which is, you could be describing my 4-year-old son, woo, I'm crying. So you're doing exactly what you were meant to do, right? Which is come here and make a difference. And I'm just so happy for your daughter and for your family. And how many kids do you have, Chelsea?
Well, do you count my husband or not? No, I have 4. If you count my husband, there's 5. He's like a 37-year-old man child.
So that's really why you need to start a business, right? Because you're ordering 4 kids packs a month.
Right. 4 kids packs a month is not cheap, but yeah, they're all, my 3-year-old has a speech delay. He's on an IEP for a speech delay, and he uses the kids pack, and it has helped him tremendously. So they each one of my kids has different needs that the kids pack addresses. So it's like one of them has major focus issues. One of them just likes to pick and poke fun at everybody and just be the instigator, and it helps kind of calm him down. Like, it's crazy what the kids pack does for each of them for their specific needs. So we're pretty jazzed about it.
Love it. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us today, Chelsea. And thank you, Mandy. Incredible stories. You guys are incredible leaders here, and we're so lucky to have you here, spreading the word and helping other people. So go back to your vacation. Have an awesome day. I'm going to wrap up for you guys right now. So just hang with me for 2 more seconds. We want to help you get started today with the kids pack plus those 3 half-off items. Okay. So what we want to make sure that you do is that you know exactly where to start. So I'm going to show it to you real quick on my screen. Okay. Real quick. This is, oh, that did not work. That didn't work. We are looking at the kids pack. Okay. Nope, that didn't work either. We're not going to share it on my screen. Plus those 50% off items. And the person who invited you into this group can help you to get started. Okay. That's the most important thing, is they can help you to get started. So what I want you to do, if you're ready to get going, is just put an "I'm ready" down in the comments, but very important, tag the person who invited you into the group. So put "I'm ready" and then tag the person who invited you into the group, because that's how they're going to know you are ready to go. They're going to help you get started with the kids pack for your kids, right? And you want to make sure you get that whole kids pack, because as Dr. Shawn so well pointed out, they work very well synergistically together. But also it's going to unlock those 3 50% off products for you, the parent, right? You deserve to feel amazing also, okay? So throw an "I'm ready" down in the comments, tag the person who invited you in here, and they're going to help you get started with that kids pack and help you pick out 3 products that are going to help you as the parent also feel amazing. Okay. So thanks for hanging out with us today, you guys. It was a lot of fun. Have an awesome day, and we will see you soon. Bye.